attempt, the best known, was by a famous physicist Michelson, and he developed a very famous experiment in order to determine the Earth's motion through space, and to everybody's surprise, his experiments, instead of showing the Earth's motion, showed that the Earth appeared to be standing still. And his observations were a real surprise to the scientists of the time, and we can see this surprise expressed in Bernard Jaffe's comment on Michelson and the speed of light. He said the data were almost unbelievable. There was only one other possible conclusion to draw, that the Earth was at rest. This, of course, was preposterous. Well, although it is preposterous, there's never been any experimental proof against it, and for a long time scientists have realized this, but they have been on the whole afraid to point it out. Now, the reason, I think, was pointed out by Alexander von Humboldt, a very well-known physicist, who quite a long time ago said, "I have known too for a long time that we have no arguments for the Copernican system, but I shall never dare to first attack it. Don't rush into the wasp's nest. You will bring upon yourself the scorn of the thoughtless multitude. If once a famous astronomer arises against the present conception, I will communicate too my observations, but to come forth as the first against opinions which the world has become fond of, I don't feel the courage." Now, here we can see a problem in that science isn't supposed to work like this. Science is supposed to accept observations, and it's supposed to consider them purely objectively, and it's not supposed to be swayed and influenced by its pet theories. But as Humboldt pointed out, if you point to the fact that there is evidence against the popularly accepted theories, or if you point out even that there is no evidence for their theories, you will find a swarm of scientific wasps descending upon your ears. Scientists don't like it. Now, there are actually many aspects of the currently accepted theories of astronomy which scientists really don't like to admit too much. For example, there's a huge amount of evidence that the universe, the solar system, everything in it, cannot be anything like as old as the popular theories suggest. Just as one example, we could take, for example, the comets. Now, a comet is actually a very small body. We can see here the tail of a comet, and this tail is getting on for 1 million miles wide, and it's many millions of miles long. We can't actually see the comet itself. The comet is believed to be a very small body, something like 10 kilometers in diameter, and all this material that we can see has been evaporated off, and it's being blown out into space by the solar wind. Now, this material is lost to the comet forever. And the comet, being a very small body, only about 10 kilometers in diameter, cannot continue to lose material like this for very long. So calculations have been done to see how long a comet can last. And a short period comet seems to have the possibility of lasting only about 10,000 years before it is completely destroyed by all the material being blown away by the solar wind. Well, since the astronomers are convinced that the material of the comets must have formed at about the same time as the solar system, we're left with a problem. How can we still have short period comets if they can't last more than about 10,000 years? Well, to get over that, a structure has been proposed called the Oort cloud. Now, the Oort cloud is said to consist of an enormous shell of comets surrounding the solar system, and there are billions upon billions of these comets in this shell, but they are so far away that they cannot be seen or detected in any way. Now, in addition to the Oort cloud, which is not detectable or visible in any way, there is also thought to be a star. Now, this star also can't be seen or detected in any way, but it has been given a name. It's been given the name Nemesis. And every now and again, this star, Nemesis, is supposed to pass close by this cloud and disturb some of these comets in their orbits, so that they are changed in their orbit and they come hurtling in towards the solar system. And as they come in towards the Sun, Jupiter catches them and changes their orbit so that they have a short period comet orbit around the Sun. And that explains how we can have short period comets, even though they can't last more than a few thousand years. The ones we see must have come in from a recent passage of this star Nemesis. Well, astronomers have done calculations to see if that's possible, and they have shown that the comets we have could not have formed that way. They could not have been captured by Jupiter and have the orbits that we observe. But nevertheless, the astronomers continue to believe in this Oort cloud, and they continue to write many papers on it. Now, Carl Sagan was typical of the astronomers who believe very firmly in this Oort cloud, and he wrote a book called Comet, in which he has a lot to say about it. But he admits many scientific papers are written each year about the Oort cloud, its origin, its properties, its evolution. Yet there is not a shred of observational evidence for its existence. Now, it might surprise many people that there are a large number of scientists who are spending their time, and incidentally the taxpayers' money, doing research about things for which there is not the slightest shred of observational evidence to support them. Now, many people might be surprised that that is now passing as science, because science is only supposed to work in explaining observations. It works with measurements. It works with experiments. And yet, there are many scientists who are spending their time and the taxpayers' money working on things for which there is not the slightest shred of observational experiment of evidence.